call of the Hawks can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Cheers to the weekend. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Had myself a pretty good Friday night. A little date night with Michelle. Good meal over at Tuscan Trotter. The new one in Rogers, really cool spot. Little ice cream for dessert, you know. Happy wife, happy life, happy tummy, happy baby. All is right in the world over here on this front. It's pretty funny. I'm recording. It's about midnight, I guess, on Friday, and just had somebody hit me up on Twitter. It was like, yo, you doing a pod at the Palace tonight? Well, as a matter of fact, I am, but it just goes out at 6 a.m. every day. So there you have it. If you're listening, I saw it and you caught me right before I hit record. So this one can be dedicated to you. Got a handful of things to get into here this morning. We're going to talk about the big three. And by that, I mean Arkansas's three primary targets that we're pretty zeroed in on at the moment here with the Razorbacks. Going to talk a little bit about Coach Cal and just his quiet game, you know, that he's kind of playing here in the portal, and why that might be just a good strategy for him, given the circumstances here with the Razorbacks. Before we get into it, obviously a shout out to all of our sponsors this spring's transfer portal content over at the Pod at the Palace. We've got the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas, HD Roofing and Construction, Basis Health, Alumni Hall, Bryant Technologies. We really appreciate all of you and happy to be working with you. Let's get into it here and see what we got. You know, I'm not going to lie, folks, for a hot minute there on Friday, it was quite a bit more uneventful than I hoped and expected it to be. You know, dead period lifted. We were hearing a lot of smoke, you know, late Thursday night about some things heating up. And there just wasn't much going on for the opening portions of the day, man. And things did start to heat up a little bit as the day went along. But just being honest here, like I wasn't alarmed or crashing out or anything like that. But I'd be lying to you guys to say that I haven't been pretty surprised at this point that we haven't gotten a single retention announcement. And yeah, I get it. That doesn't mean these guys aren't coming back. In fact, we said several times here recently that we expect, you know, the remaining four probably to be back to the Razorbacks, but we just haven't heard it. And then, you know, like you turn around and you wake up Friday and, you know, and allegedly we have nothing really confirmed by way of visits for the course of the first weekend there at the end of the dead period. So I'm hearing all that and trying to put the pieces together there early on Friday. And frankly, I just wasn't buying it. It just wasn't. And it may have turned out to be a good strategy here because we finally got some movement. I'm expecting news in some form this weekend, and that probably will be at my own detriment. But at some point here, you know, Cal's he's got to feel us poking him with that stick, you know, like, hey, do something and make something happen here. And they're just on the verge of a number of things. It's just a matter of who and when, you know, who pulls the trigger first, when it happens, who's going to be that first pop. And then maybe we have that domino effect. And it's just cool news, like one after another, after another, after another. Sign me up for that, right? That'll be the exciting stuff to talk about what has happened instead of what might happen or what we think is going to happen. But that's where we're at right now. So let's start with the big men and work our way down the list here real quick. Let's actually begin where we have maybe the least amount of news. And I guess that would be with our man, Nick Pringle, right? You know, it's been a little bit quiet on that front. Honestly, is there a holdup or something? Is there some hesitancy there with Pringle? It's interesting. Not pressing any panic buttons or anything like that. I'm just thinking out loud here. Every time I check in on it, and it's daily, there's been no change on that front, which on the surface seems like a very good thing because we've been assuming that Pringle to Arkansas has been wrapped up for a while here. As we understand it, he's been on campus already. Even though we've talked about how the financial aid paperwork, you know, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't lock anything in, but it sounds like it's done at least. And that's part of the process. You know what I'm saying? Like it's better to have completed that part of the process than having not. We haven't really heard about him being connected to any other programs. We know that the staff really likes his SEC experience, his toughness, his physicality, his rebounding. They place a lot of value on that. So then my question is, what's the holdup on a public announcement? I wonder, or if there is one. right? Especially to me, like when he profiles, I think as a backup big for the rotation for Arkansas. If you're putting the roster together that you think you're going to, and that's a very important piece to have. So I don't know. Am I missing something here? Is Nick still shopping around? Is he looking at his options? Is Arkansas shopping around, or are they waiting on somebody else? Is there just no sense of urgency with either side there? Is there some sort of snag that we don't know about? I'm not trying to hint at anything, I promise, at all here. I just don't understand at this point if it's done, why it isn't publicly announced just yet. Are they waiting on something in particular? Sometimes it could be as easy as a guy wants to announce on his mom's birthday on a certain day or something. Or, there could be any number of reasons. I just wonder what it is, right? Because I don't think, I don't know that Nick Pringle needs to be as big of a secret as the nuclear codes. So hopefully we have something soon on that front is what I'm getting at, because it felt like it was coming to a head like a week ago. Like I was anticipating maybe getting some news on him several days ago. We haven't had it yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Doesn't mean I'm worried about it. But it makes me wonder why and when are we going to get that? So maybe they want Malik Ewin to be official first. And so I guess we could move on to him. I mean, that could be the case too. There might be an order of operation here. I don't know. But we did get a little bit of clarity on that front. Good news, but I'm still proceeding with a little bit of caution because I just don't trust the competition. Feel the same way I did. Ultimately, I think Malik Euan winds up being a Razorback. I'm really not overly concerned at that front. But if you remember on yesterday's episode, we talked about, we had learned that Auburn, Bruce Pearl were trying to make a heavy late push to pluck Malik away from Arkansas. Okay. And so then we had him on visit alert, right? It's like, get this dude on campus ASAP, get him locked up, stay away, Bruce. Okay, you've already come in here and tried to snag Keyshawn Hall away. You got him, right? I don't think Arkansas is prioritizing Hall as hard as they have been their front court because of the need there. But the point stands. It's like everybody Arkansas is recruiting, Auburn's in there on them. Like, go find your own guys, Bruce. What the hell are we doing here? At any rate, Ewan scheduled to visit and be in Fayetteville, which is huge, starting Monday. So that's great, but we still have the entire weekend that we've got to wait it out here. Unless he just, pops early, whatever. But, it's a couple days for Auburn or whoever to get in his ear, try to sway his mind, sweeten the pot. But in my opinion, as long as you keep him off any other campuses this weekend, and as far as I understand at the moment, he doesn't have anything scheduled with Auburn, who's the primary contender. But then you get him in town on Monday. I don't think he leaves Arkansas uncommitted. If he does, I'm worried. Right? But I think as long as he gets here without any snags, without any issues for his visit, I think he leaves a Razorback. That's where I'm at with it. Now, remember, Ewan was one that we had on weekend visit watch, right? It's going to be right after the weekend, but this is DEFCON 1 with the dead period lifted. Okay, all hands on deck. You guys know the locations. We need eyes everywhere. Hell, we've had them everywhere. We've got eyeballs pointing out Jaron Pierre, allegedly, right? So we can move on to him because he was another guy who's been on visit watch. Interesting. Was told late Thursday night. Let's backtrack a little bit more. During the Theo Von concert on Thursday, we found from the Rivals reporter for Kentucky that Pierre wasn't considering Kentucky anymore. He had narrowed his list down to a Final Four, was trying to decide by Monday. Arkansas is on that list with SMU, with Auburn, with Ole Miss. Okay. Then we were hearing a lot of buzz late Thursday night that, there's a possibility Pierre could be on campus as early as Friday, but never really got that confirmed. Okay, fair enough. Then I was told later in the day on Friday, they weren't expecting any visitors this weekend. And there's a reason that message was delivered around. But we hear that only to find out that Ewan is actually coming Monday. All right, fair enough. Not technically the weekend. Then a few hours later, we start getting hit with rumors that somebody had spotted Pierre on campus. And you hear that from time to time, and you might just mistake somebody or think somebody is someone that they're not, or make it up, like whatever. But then we've got one pretty darn plug source right now that's very confident in that based on who he's talked to. But I'm not just yet. Okay. I have no reason to doubt someone who's been right a lot here lately. But I'm just not comfortable reporting anything as fact unless it checks all my verification boxes. And this one doesn't just yet. So as of late Friday night, staff or Jiren or my eyes have not confirmed that he is in Fayetteville, but I'm certainly not ruling it out. And I'm also not going to say that I'm ruling out Jaron Pierre becoming a Razorback if he's not on campus for a visit, but I damn near rule him in if he is. And so that's something trying to figure out early on Saturday. Okay. His only other known visit has been SMU, as we talked about. And here's the part about just getting on Arkansas's campus. When John Calipari gets you here, he's serious about you. He's not just throwing out visits for the hell of it, right? It's a big deal for him to get somebody in here on campus. That means he's interested, he's invested, he wants to build that relationship. And most of the time when he gets you on campus, he winds up getting it done and locking down the deal. So there's that part of it. Remember, the latest reporting was that he could potentially decide by Monday. So you can do the math there. If you get him in here late and he's really a priority for you, well, there you go. Okay. So obviously going to continue to do digging in the morning. Keep a very, very close eye on this one. Very close eye on this one. Man, he put out updated his Instagram story or whatever late Friday. And I immediately got excited. I was like, oh, this would be great. He's probably just, pinned a location in Fayetteville, or maybe he's at Tin Roof or something. I don't know. No, it was just his name on an NBA mock draft, which is also an option for him. Right. But would be a major, major splash if Arkansas is able to get that thing done. It'd be awesome. Man, this cat and mouse game and, following the portal, it's fun for a while, but it does wear on you some. Like the portal fatigue is real. And it's probably for players who are just getting their phone blown up like crazy, for coaches, who are running around like madmen trying to build their rosters, for people like me who are trying to follow, where the staff is trying to go out and identify their players. It's a lot. Life would be a lot easier if Arkansas operated the way that a vast majority of schools do, and that they leak their visit lists and information pretty regularly. They like to get that program momentum, the hype. They want to see their name connected with the big fish, whatever. So why is Cal so quiet on, the visits and the portal movement and everything, even compared to his high school stuff? Because that stuff is all out there. And I think it's because of the time frame that's involved here. These high school kids, Cal's recruiting them for years, building that, and those relationships are so important to him. And builds it over time, and there's a trust factor there, a family factor there that you just don't get when you're in the portal. Everything is so magnified. It moves so fast. It's a matter of days or weeks as opposed to years. And I think part of it is Cal probably knows what his reputation is as a recruiter, right? And everybody knows what his NIL situation looks like at Arkansas. They got funny money to work with around here. It's the best way to go about your business and do the work that needs to be done without having to deal with a bunch of outside nonsense. And I think that's part of the reason why they keep it so quiet. Guys, you would be blown away at how much effort has gone into running interference by the staff in terms of keeping their own guys from folks tampering, agents trying to get involved, other NIL offers being thrown out there. Hey, leave Arkansas, we'll get you this. It's ridiculous. And it's not just happening with Arkansas's guys, it's happening everywhere. And so when we talk about them prioritizing retention, it's not as simple as having those exit meetings and saying, all right, nice year. This is what we're looking for at you with, for your role next season. Probably going to be in this minutes range, and this is what will pay you in NIL. I mean, that's part of it, but it's keeping, other greedy hands away from your guys. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. They call it the Wild Wild West, and it's probably an understatement if we're really being honest here. So there's that. And then multiply that by 50 with going out and getting new guys, because that's a completely different world. I'm not making excuses for anybody. They're getting paid handsomely to do the job. It's part of it. Doesn't make it easy. But take, I don't know, like take Malique Ewin, for example, prime example. The only reason we all learned that he's visiting is because he was finally kind enough to respond to some text messages and let folks know himself, which is great. But what do you think is going to happen all weekend now? You think he's just going to chill, kick his feet up and then fly into X and A early Monday morning? Probably not. All the contenders, but probably, folks that haven't even been engaged with him at all are going to be hitting him up, whether they have actually a shot or not to land him, and run that price up, man. That's just the way this works. Hey, man, whatever Arkansas is paying you, we'll pay you more. What are they offering you? You know how much money they have, right? They're offered you what? Oh, you should be getting more than that. You should be insulted. They're lowballing you, bro. Cancel that visit. Cancel that visit and come here. We'll offer you this right now on the spot. Right? It's relentless, the amount of nonsense that goes on from that front. So from that side of things, if I'm anybody, but especially Arkansas, given their stance here, as a program, everybody knows about the Tyson money, the chicken man, all that. I don't want anybody to know who I've got visiting, because I want to avoid that. It's happening anyway, but if folks know you're getting ready to go somewhere, or they know you're on campus somewhere, it's just going to be on a different level. I mean, the rest of the country knows. Did you guys see that tweet by Travis Branham over at 24/7 Sports? I think he said he was estimating 8 programs in the country that are going to have a $10 million plus NIL budget next season. And Arkansas is one of them. Okay. He didn't give the list, but Arkansas is one of them. Everybody knows that. Arkansas, BYU, Texas Tech, Louisville, handful of other schools, but Arkansas is right there in that mix. Everybody knows that. So people can know that. That doesn't mean they can compete with it, right? So do you just, if you're another program in the SEC or elsewhere that doesn't have the type of payroll that Arkansas is going to have in NIL, do you just like throw your hands in there and go, well, I guess they're going to kick our butts this season? No. You try to even the playing field. And what is one way to even the playing field if you can't get your money up? It's creating natural inflation by upping the cost of Arkansas's business, right? That's why they do not want their priorities right out there in the open for everybody. Now, it's our job to go out there and find them and report on them when we do, and that's all part of it. But there's a reason why they keep it so close to the vest, because the less everybody else knows, the less you have to worry about team A, B, C, and D running up what it's going to cost you to get a player, because the more each player costs, the less players you can get. Because the money's not infinite, okay? So my advice, don't be fooled by John Calipari's quiet approach to the transfer portal. Just because all their movements don't get leaked or put out as public knowledge or whatever like other places, doesn't mean things aren't moving. They are. They're moving quickly. The strategy is being implemented. He knows what he's doing. He's going to complete his process, vet his guys, make the decisions on his own timeline. And when all is said and done, he's going to put together a really strong roster. Is it happening as fast as we want it to? Nope. But there's still 10 more days for this portal to be open. And I'm excited to see what they wind up doing here. I think that before the portal closes, we're going to see a good handful of really, really top end players that are going to enter, and they're going to become available, and Arkansas is going to be connected with them. That being said, I am about to the point now, I think it's time to make a move or two, right? And it, like the retention stuff is one thing. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just assuming that these other 4 are back unless they wind up just not being. And so I'm looking at DJ and Trevin and Billy and Carter. And then I'm looking at Darius and Malik and Isaiah and Kareem. And I see 8 guys there. And in fairness, probably 6 that are going to be in the rotation. If you're really trying to take this thing to 10 or 11, which is what Cal has said, he wants to be deeper than that 9 that he had of guys that he really, really trusts there. I think it's probably about time, right, to make Hell, make 2 additions, right? Like if you're really trying to add some shooting on the perimeter and you think that Jiren Pierre can be that guy, go get him now. And if you're really trying to wait on, you don't have a center, right? Go get one now. Like lock up a couple guys, get that thing to 8, and then you can spend the rest of the time being a little bit more patient about what do I want my backup 5 to look like? Or am I going to take a third one to make sure that I got plenty of depth there? Do I get what is my backup 4 situation going to look like with Trevin there? Is he going to be the backup 4? Or are we looking for somebody who could start and we bring Trevin off the bench? Those things you can take a little bit more time with, but I think it's time to maybe get the ball rolling, have those first couple dominoes fall, and really set yourself up to where you can be super, super picky for the final couple pieces that'll set you over the top and get you to that level of a Final Four roster that you want to be. I know I keep saying this because I'm surprised that they haven't made a move just yet. Not panicked, just surprised. Man, let's see if Malik is visiting Monday and Pierre, and we don't know which way he's leaning right now. But if he's trying to decide by Monday, and then we're still waiting around on Pringle. I mean, if we get to Wednesday, at the end of the day, Wednesday or something, and we haven't heard anything on any of these guys, or Arkansas hasn't picked somebody up, it's going to be hard for me not to wonder what the heck is going on. Like we might have to reset and reevaluate a little bit. And the funny thing about it is that'll be us doing that, not the staff, right? Because if nothing's happened by that point, chances are they've been all over somebody else that we don't even know about. Just how they operate, man. Sneaky fellas over there. But anyway, we're going to get out of here for the day. Got some just very, very much portal related, roster build related, kind of have a theme in mind for tomorrow morning's show that I'm looking forward to, but it's going to be tentative because we'll see what happens, right? Like if we get something really concrete on Pierre or, something else pops, whatever, then obviously the show is going to be centered around that. But if not, I got something I think is going to be a little bit fun. It's going to be maybe a challenge for you guys who listen, like an option A, option B type of deal on how this roster could look. We might go through position by position, a little pick your pig action, and give you some options. Do a vote. We might have a poll in here and see what everybody thinks. Who build a Final Four roster like you go to a Build-A-Bear for your kiddos. But anyway, out of here, calling it a night. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you get subscribed to the YouTube channel Inside Arkansas. Find us where you find your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever. And we'll be back with you in the morning. Everybody have a good day. Enjoy your weekend. We'll catch you next time. Thank you.